Okay, back with the wrap for the league we played with the Abzan Torture Existence deck. Um, I think the deck's better than the record suggests. 1-4, obviously with one loss to time in a match that we were basically guaranteed to win. So it could easily have been 2-3. Made Played terribly in the last round. A bit embarrassing, to be honest. And obviously main deck relics cost us around 4. Obviously I'm making excuses here, but I do think this deck's worth giving a try if you like doing something a bit different. The deck's certainly very powerful, but in spite of that I definitely make some changes. So I'll start with what I don't think is worth having. I don't think the Servant of the Scale should be in the deck. It's just too slow. Occasionally you get to make a Stinkweed Imp or something and pump it a bit and get in with some flying damage, but it doesn't really do a lot for me. One thing I did find is all I ever wanted to draw was this Abyssal Gatekeeper guy, so I think that's a fairly simple switch in the main deck. Honestly, I don't know if these Wild Mongrels are worth having. You could have another Blister Pod, another Fume Spitter, even another Perilous Mare, just something to give you going. Like, occasionally we get in those weird spots where Wild Mongrel and Grave Scrabbler shenanigans with Auramancer let us pull Torture Existence out of our bins. But I think honestly, where a lot of the time you can just not dredge other than Stinkweed Imp to block with, if you need to still find your Torture Existence. What would be good is the deck having a bit more power when you're not using Torture Existence. So you can play Gurmag Angler or something powerful like just you're fueling this guy already with your shenanigans. Recurable 5/5 kills someone a lot faster than recurring a Blister Pod or something. And yeah, you have to be careful what you're exiling out of your graveyard because we use a lot of stuff, but you can exile some Terramorphic Expanses, Commune with the Gods, some of the creatures that you don't need for a specific matchup. There's a lot of moving parts in a deck and you don't need them all in all of the matchups. One big thing is the sideboard that I was playing was just not very well designed. The cards I think I would want to keep in the sideboard, probably something like just these 5 for definite. I think Wispmare, as a way to kill enchantments, is probably worth having. It's a shame we don't have access to red for the artifact equivalent, but I'm sure there are cards that we can find. Manic Vandal's also red, sadly. Let's have a look. We just, creatures are the aim of the game. Reclamation Sage is uncommon, so we can't play him. But I mean, there's definitely creatures that you can play. I mean, if you had to, Caustic Caterpillar, it's not good. I think that's its name. Yeah, he's not great, but if you tweak the mana a bit to have a bit more green, maybe you can run him. The naturalizers, okay, we still need to find a way of dealing with artifacts. Currently that's the best that we have, but I mean, it's difficult to run Ancient Grudge because you can't get it into the graveyard without red mana. But there definitely must be a better way to have answers to the cards in this. With respect to our removal suite, I don't think Ghastly Demise is going to do it. Everyone's going to be hating on the deck from a graveyard perspective. I think the sideboard, we haven't got problems with removal, we have problems with surviving long enough. You could easily see another Lone Missionary being in the sideboard, because Burn's actually surprisingly prevalent online, I think. Maybe 1 or 2 Ghastly Demises you could keep. But we don't want loads. What else did we struggle with? I mean, I guess this is early interaction. I mean, just like 1 mana answers are important in the format, and Ghastly Demise is good against some creatures at doing that, and it's very bad against some entire decks. Um, so I think that's okay actually. The 1 mana black enchantment, whose name I can never remember, actually might be quite interesting. Let me try and find this. But I think there's just like a 1 mana black aura that gives -2, -2, something like that. Oh, I should have looked this up before I came on. But anyway, while I do that, the point is you have Auramancers already. So a lot of the time we found the Auramancers weren't really doing anything for us. So we should probably try and use them. Okay, dead weight. Yeah. So these Auramancers are in there as kind of an extra bit of value. Let us recur our Tortured Existence. Just play the long game. We may as well make use of them. There's something like Deadweight in the sideboard is probably a reasonable card to look for. This Fortress Haven's just not worth it at all. I can go away. What else would I recommend? I think that's most of what I would recommend changing for now. These cards for definite seem very good. A better card instead of Naturalize. Ideally, a cheap creature with a comes into play effect to destroy artifacts. I don't think there is one, sadly, in the colours that we're playing. So you might have to go with something like Caustic Caterpillar. There's got to be a better creature than that in green. That's something to think about. Perhaps another Lone Missionary instead of the third North to the Bone might be good, or another Arishan Cleric. I mean, Lone Missionary is a bit more aggressive and you do have to kill people. Other than that, I think, you know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards there. So I've got another spot of, you know, Gomag Angler, something to be more aggressive. You have a lot of ways to protect it from edict effects, like you have a bunch of creatures that are completely happy to die, in fact. So I think something like that would be what I recommend. If you fancy trying some kind of graveyard deck, if you feel your meta, if you play Paper Pup, or if you feel online you want to give it a try, I thoroughly recommend it. It's fun to play. Online, I would suggest practicing a bit so you don't time out like I did in tournaments, because that's not great. But you have a good matchup against some of the better decks in the format, and yeah, have fun. I'll be back. Well, I'll do another series probably after Christmas. Playing some more kind of a straightforward, probably a beatdown deck. I haven't decided which exactly, and just try something different. Thanks for watching.